Hey everyone. So, have you ever done a project that you hate? Well, this would be it for me. What these are, well, what this one is a bookmark. And it's made from a lunch bag and it has a little pocket like if you were, reading your books and you wanted to put a little note in here or I don't know why there's a pocket. I don't read. I hate to read and I hate these bookmarks. Why did I make them? Because I told someone that I would work on making a shaker card bookmark. And this one I put buttons in and I loved it when it was done, but making it was just, not one of my most favorite things. Not to mention the fact it does have good sound, but the buttons don't move a whole lot. And really, I don't care. I'm so sick of this thing. I could just die. So here's the first one I made. I love the buttons. They move around great. And the buttons, I just can't bring myself to take it apart to get the buttons back out. But look how thick it is. I don't know what kind of book you'd put that in, but it'd stand that wide just to, I mean, ridiculous. So I didn't even decorate it. I was so frustrated. But I'm going to show you how I made it because I think I finally have it the way that I want it. And who knows, maybe this time I'm really going to enjoy it. I don't think so, but maybe. Okay, so I have these lunch bags. I got them from Walmart. They're just standard lunch bags. Let me tell you what size they are. 5 1/8 by 3 1/8 by 10 5/8. So that is the lunch bags. I don't even know if they still have them. I got those so long ago, it's not even funny. So to start, just cut off, leave it folded and cut off right here by your flap. And keep these because Julie at Camille Crafts has a really cool tutorial on how to use these. And I'm actually going to make some for the bright colored ones. So first you're just going to open this up. And where that seam is, fold it. Just fold it flat. Just like that. So far, so good, right? Okay. So now, and do this step before you cut it. And I'll try to explain why. And I said try because I can't really remember. But anyway, my notch is right here, and I like that notch. So anyway, I'm going to try to keep it where it's kind of in the middle. So I folded this about 2 inches over. She said she wanted one that was 2 by 9. I don't even know if this is 9 inches. It's not. It's 8. So that's just going to have to be good enough. So there's 2. And then I fold this one all the way over to meet that. And it's going to come out a little bit, and that's okay. I'm going to put that little notch, I'm going to fold it more towards the middle. So to do that, I need to make this one a little bit smaller to keep it in the middle. And I mean, you can always cut that part off. You don't have to keep it in the middle. And then, well, what am I doing? Okay, well, see, it's already not working. I hate this thing. I hate it. I hate it. Oh, I hate it. Okay, so I guess how I'm doing it, I'm not going to be able to keep that notch in the middle, and that's okay. So we're just going to keep on moving. So we folded it about 2 inches. Actually, that's a lie. It's 3 inches. We folded the first fold. Well, actually, okay, so the first fold is about 2 1/4. And then I folded this one to where this shows a little bit. And I did that because rather than put a notch in, you would see that there's, hopefully a tuck spot there. So now that we've done our folds, I'm going to cut it. And I cut on the right side because I'm right-handed and it's easier for me to work the next few steps. But it really doesn't matter which side you cut on. Just whichever one is easiest for you to work. So I unfold that and I can see that right here are my lines, and I want to kind of just make a hole. Just cut. in your bag. And then I took my decal edge ruler here, and where that first crease is, I just kind of laid it, not where there's a full amount, because that's really big. I just kind of, I guess I'm just guessing at it, really. And I'm going to tear over to my ruler and tear down. No certain size, just whatever you want, however big you want this hole to be. And I'm going to leave room at the top, and then I'm going to turn it and do the same thing on this side. Tear down that. And then tear across. No certain size, but you can kind of see when we fold it back up that it's pretty much in the middle, and there's a little space on each side. So I have that I'm going to make 2 of them. Like, you know, one of them isn't a big enough headache. No, I'm not. You know what? This is not. I'm just going to make this one. Next step is I ink this. I just inked around the middle. We can ink all the outside later. So now I'm going to take a piece of this paper because I liked it. And I have some left from earlier. I used this paper before in some project, and everyone wanted to know where I got it. And it came from Temu, and it really doesn't have much information on it. It has this number, 76391222188, and it says A510244. There's 10 sheets. So, and that's really all it says. So I'm going to, here's my, I kind of tore it, the width of the whole thing. The width of this when it's folded. So I tore it about that width. You can do it a little bit longer, or I'm sorry, wider if you want, because we're going to fold it. And as I was saying a while ago, the reason I cut it after I folded was so that I would know where to tear the hole and make it centered. Okay, so here it is. And I'm just going to lay it kind of beside of it and fold up the bottom and fold down the top so that I know those folds are still inside of my window. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I go across, this is still above that window, and this is still below it. And I did try to do this and not do this part, but it wouldn't move. And later, when I glue this down, you're going to be like, well, I don't understand why you did this. I don't either, but it works, and it makes whatever you put in this be able to move. If I was leaving it, at first when I done it, I didn't sew this down. I just left it up, and everything slid underneath these, and you couldn't see it in the window. So I know that the steps I'm doing are probably not going to make much sense, but this is how it finally did work for me. So now I'm just going to miter those and cut those corners out where I've folded. You can kind of see the little squares from folding it. I'm going to just cut those like that. All right. Now we have this. Some of this stuff that it's what it is. I ordered it by mistake. It's laminate like they use in schools. They put on those big rollers. That's what it is. And it's, I wouldn't recommend getting any of it. I'm just using it because I have it and I have no other purpose for it. I've tried using it like I would my normal laminating stuff, and I did get it to work with my iron, but it's so thin, like you can't make much out of it. It's just really for laminating, you know, papers or documents. I've just cut that down to size. You could use packing, like leftover acetate on your packing, or packages like that this paper comes in. You could use it. You don't need to buy anything for this. I'm going to cut this a little bit more. Okay, now I'm just going to glue on these 3 sides and glue this laminate to it. And I've got a piece of paper in there that I'll probably never get out because this is sticky stuff. It's staticky, not sticky, staticky. Okay, now it's somewhat glued down. I'm just going to trim around it. It doesn't have to be right up next to it. You can leave it a little bit longer. Not going to hurt a thing. And this is how I did it. I'm sure there's a better way, but this is how I did it. At this stage, I added whatever I was going to put in there, because I want to sew it to this. So those edges I'm going to sew down, and they're going to be flat. And it's kind of like, okay, well then, why did you bend them over if they're not going to give any room? Well, I guess they give just enough room where I've folded it that it can still move. It's the only thing I can figure. Because when I didn't sew them down, everything fell over to underneath them and wouldn't come back out. So I've rusted some buttons. I say rusted. I've just faux rusted. I took some alcohol ink, and I probably should have let them dry. Yep, they're not dry, so I can't use those. I took alcohol ink and sprinkled it on some buttons, all different colors of buttons. Now I got rust all over my fingernails. And they're not dry, so I don't want to really mess with them. Look, it's got it all over my fingers. So I think what I'm going to do is use some of my rusty pieces. I tell you what would have been neat is if I would have put a little Tim Holtz person in here and used my rusty pieces, but I didn't do that. So again, I'm just going to move on. I just have some little rusty pieces here. Probably isn't going to work very good. It's probably going to get all over the front and you won't even be able to see what's in there, but I don't know. I'm just playing around. I'm going to drop these in here. You, of course, can use anything. Little glittery things. That'll look okay. I'll put a few more. These are just some pieces I rusted, and I don't really even know what they were, other than washers. The other pieces that look like washers are not. Okay, so there they are. Now here's the tricky part. When I get ready to sew, I've got to make sure that everything is in the middle, not underneath, or I don't want to hit my needle on these things. And the reason I didn't sew first was because I wanted the outside to be sewn. Otherwise, I'm going to be sewing through this same piece 2 times. So I'm just going to try to get it in the middle once I put it underneath here. I'm going to glue it to this first so that it's not so hard to keep where it needs to be. You could tear that hole out bigger if you wanted to. And then I'm just going to start sewing. And as I sew, I will move these where they don't get underneath my sewing machine foot. But this is what it looks like on the back. And this I'm going to go ahead and fold in and glue. I should have done that. I'll do that too. Fold it in and glue it. And then I'm going to sew around it from the front. Well, look at that. Then, oh, I know what I did. I didn't fold it down, and so it's showing out my window. Okay, let's try this again. Let's line it back up. Well, I didn't do a very good job, did I? with my hole. Oh, gosh, this is why I hate this. See, my little piece is showing out the bottom. I guess what I could do is just tear a little bit of this top off and try to glue it back down. Fold it in again. See why I hate this? I'm not a precise enough person to be doing projects like this. They're not fun for me. I made one before. I love shaker cards. I don't love making them because I'm not good at it. Alright, I'm going to cut a little piece off the bottom too. Just so I don't, because I barely have any at the top. So I need to cut a little piece off this bottom. So I guess what I'm telling you by redoing all of this is, you know, really, to keep that from going underneath those, we could have just glued it down to this paper, couldn't we? Let's do that. Okay. Maybe I'll cut out the first part where you don't got to watch my mistake. Or I may not, because you won't understand why I'm doing this. I'm gonna glue it down now. That way we don't have to worry about getting it underneath my sewing machine foot. So glue that down. Then glue this on the top again. Let's see if this works. This is not how I done it, so I hope it works. Probably won't move at all now that I've done this. Well, they're still moving. Now let's try to put it back in our window and see if I can do it. Okay, good deal. So our stuff isn't showing. Move that over just a little bit. I'm still going to have to finagle it where it doesn't get in my foot because it's bigger than my window. Now I'm going to glue it back down. Now I'm going to sew. I'm really going to sew. And if this works, I might make one that's really good. Hold on. Okay, so here it is. I managed to sew around it and not hit any of these things. So the next steps should be easy. We're going to fold it back like it was in half. Put my rusted pieces up where I don't knock them off the table. And then we're going to glue. And I just used stick glue because I do end up sewing. And all of this can be glued down. So just glue the whole entire thing. Alright, now I'm going to fold over like this. And again, you can use stick glue if you plan on sewing. Actually, with this paper bag, the stick glue works really well. I don't know that you would really need a really wet glue. I've had real good luck with it sticking. I was thinking, you know, every time I do something with a paper bag and I don't know what I'm doing, Rita, I love her. She has, can't think of her name is Rita Jensen, I believe. I can't think if that's the name of her channel or not, but she always does my tutorial when I've just made a fool out of myself, and she'll always say, and she wasn't sure either. I think to myself, oh, I hope she don't do this one because people are going to think I don't have a clue, and I usually don't, but you know. So now I'm going to glue top and bottom, and I need to decide if I want to keep all this, and I don't, because I don't like the little notch thing is not in the center. So I take you could use your decal edge trimmer, which I could do that, but I don't want to dig it out. So I'm just going to tear with my ruler here. And I got these rulers from Amazon. They came in a set of 3. This is what they look like. They have different edges on them. This is the one I tend to use the most. Now I'm going to ink. Well, actually, it doesn't matter which step you do. You can glue it or ink it or whatever. If you were going to decorate the bag, which I thought about smushing it, you know, to give it some really pretty color, but I didn't do that. You probably want to do that before you ever start the project to give your bag time to dry. And now that it has those rusty bits in it, I might need to use some of my other inks on here, and I probably will now that I'm not quite so mad at it anymore. Okay, so I'm just going to glue these 2 on the ends because for some reason I really like that pocket being there. I figure maybe it'll help. Maybe it's like a hidden journaling spot, or you know, I don't know. I don't read. Do you keep notes? Do you? I can read. I don't like to read. I'll put it like that. I like to read short things, like books and things. Not so much. Never been a big book reader. I like something that I can read fast and get to the bottom line. Kind of everything I do, it's got to be fast. So I'm going to pull out my favorites here. I got Salvaged Patina and Rusty Hinge. I'm just going to grab my brushes or something and put some color on here. I've got rusty inside, so rusty pieces, so I kind of want to make this look rusty too. Not being too particular with it, just random doing it. And I'm just gonna get me a cloth somewhere and wipe this off. Now I'm gonna add a little bit of patina in there. And yes, I know that true rust is not blue. It's more of a green. The patina is more of a green, but I don't care. I like this. You do what pleases you. If you like the way it looks, do that. If you like something else, do that. That's the fun part of creating this way. You don't have to do any certain way. I appreciate the attention to details. I truly do. I think it's awesome. People that can create like that. I'm not one of them, obviously. Okay, so I'm going to dig into my Noel pieces. See what I got that might work. She sent me, oh, I love her. She is, oh shoot, Pretty Sassy Creations, I believe. I'll try to remember to link her because she has beautiful, she's the one that made this pocket that inspired me for the fabric pockets. And she sent me this Happy Mail, which is wonderful. I'm just doing the same stamp. That really looks original, doesn't it? You can tell my heart is not in this thing. But it is turning out really cool. Okay, I'm starting to really like it. Let's get us a number. Got some old rusty bits in there. On this one, I put a piece of the stamped muslin and a little rusty paper clip. Or, I'm sorry, rusted safety pin. What do you think? Is it cute, or do I need to add more to it? I mean, it's just a bookmark. I mean, you can fancy it up however you wanted to. Don't hate it. I'm not good at it. And things I'm not good at, I tend to shy away from. So there's 2 of them. I got a rusted bit and a button. Now, real quick, and I'm not going to bore you with it, but I really want to make one quickly to show you how it's really supposed to happen. So we're going to cut this. Open it up. Fold our little seams the opposite way. in about 2 inches. And if you don't want this one to come all the way, you know, to have an edge, you could cut it. Not a big deal. But I like that extra there for some reason. Okay. Now I'm going to open it up. And like I said, I cut the right side because it's easier for me to maneuver that way. And here's my lines. So I'm just going to cut right in the middle. Just make a hole with my scissors. Grab my little ruler and just make it whatever's... Oh, I move the other out from underneath where I don't accidentally tear it. And then I just start tearing. And I'm going to take that other piece. Should fit just right in there, and it does. So I'm going to lay it beside of it. I don't have a very big window this time, so it'll be a lot easier. Fold it up. This one down. Maybe not that far. And fold the edges in just a little bit. And I'm going to miter the corners. And I'm going to go ahead and glue these down because that's how it worked last time. I could glue them down and glue them on this side, glue it down. This would be fun to use magazine pages. You know, put a pretty flowers, or put a Tim Holtz piece behind there. That should be just fine. I do like that. Now I'm going to glue on this. This is when you glue on your packaging or your acetate, whatever you're using. Yeah, here they are. I say that because I don't really use them, and I thought they would look like, I don't know, just something fun to put in there. What do you think about something like that moving around? Not fun, fun. It might be too high to move around. I'm going to try them, though, because they look cool with that background. Oh, they are moving. Cool. Just trying to make sure that's pretty taut and not wrinkled across there. Trim it down and glue it to the inside of my window. Now I'm going to go sew, and I'll be right back. I forgot again to do some smishing. I think I was just in such a fizz to show that I could actually do this correctly. So I'm going to fold it back in half. Plus, I mean, you can always ink later and do the things. I don't think I've made a shaker card since I did the tutorial before. And I bet I don't make another one until I find out what my friend wants inside, you know, what she wants hers to look like. Okay, so I'm just going to glue this, you know, on something like this that has these or hook and eyes. It'd be kind of neat to put like lace on the outside. I think they turn out neat. Fold this side in and glue it. That one over. I could ink it before I glue it down. Use my decal scissors this time and cut the bottom and the top. Scissors I got from a secondhand shop, but I know that they sell stuff like this on Amazon. These are family treasures, it says. I don't know. Is that a good size bookmark, or is it too wide or too short, or I don't know. I really wanted to make a fabric one. That moves good. I like it. Probably put something for her to sit on, wouldn't I? A label. I need a label. Okay, so we've got our little girls. I was debating whether to color their dresses. You know how I like to color them with watercolor pencils. But I guess they really wouldn't look too Tim Holtzy, do they, when I do that? So I guess I'll just leave that alone. Maybe I want to put a piece of ruler up here. I think I am going to put a piece of cheesecloth across there, even though it's going to cover up my ruler just a little bit. That didn't work out. I tore it, and guess I better cut it, huh? This is a double layer. I guess if you didn't want to make it a bookmark, it could always just be a writing spot, huh? Because it's got good writing here on the back. So I'm going to sew across the bottom and the top for my pocket. I don't guess I glued the top of that one. I don't really guess I need to, because I'm going to sew over it, but I'll go ahead and do it a little bit. And then I'm going to sew my little cheesecloth on. And that'll be our last one. These are starting to grow on me. I think I could grow to like to make these. Alright, I'll be right back. I probably should have sewed the ends before I put on my little girl, because look, I sewed right across her little toe. That ain't good. So there's our cheesecloth. I love that. Then I was thinking, you know what this needs? Maybe one of our buttons. Maybe it needs a button. Does it need a heart button? I think it does. Ooh, look at there. I've got a whole bunch of string too. I think it's like crochet thread or something like that. It was a thicker kind. I don't know what I was using it for. It was back in my crochet days. Wendy said I should start introducing some of my crochet into my junk journaling, and I would love that. That was actually my intention when I was first starting, was to combine the two, but crochet got so hard on my hands, I don't do it much anymore. Look at that. What a terrible bow. What do you think? Yes, no? Raise you up where you can see a little better. It's kind of hard to see my little eyelet things in there with this glare. Alright, so there they are, my bookmarks, which I need to tie something on the top. I'll do that for this one. Maybe, would you do an eyelet, or would you do one of the long cuts? Let's see what we got here if we do it this way. It's pretty. Sorry, Silk. It's got little gold flecks in it. That's pretty. What do you think? Bookmark or no? I like them. I think they're different. I really like what's inside, these rusted bits and the buttons and all of that. I really think, I wish this one had come out, because I love the buttons in this one. I'll probably end up taking those out at some point just because they're so pretty and I don't want to waste them in that. Let me know what you think of these. Are these bookmarks or writing spots? They are intended to be bookmarks, shaker card bookmarks. I don't know that I managed to do that, but I like them pretty good. I will say, now I just have to make one more as soon as I find out what my friend wants inside of her bookmark. Or maybe this isn't even what she had in mind, because it's not the size she requested. This one might be close. Anyway, I'm just rambling now. Thank you for watching. I hope you like these. Maybe it gave you some inspiration. And maybe you can tell me a better way to do it. Because I know there is one. I know that I just fumble through things. But thank you for watching. And I will see you next time. Bye.